Okay, my name is Nyadzombe Nyampenza, and I'm coming from Harare, Zimbabwe. I always feel a bit nervous before traveling, Yeah, that's the thing with me, if I have to travel, too much preparations, time to catch the bus, the plane, yeah, so that's the feeling. You know what, I think the nervousness might come, because it's only been a month, sometimes things don't change so much, but the impact is there and the incentive is there, the courage is there. So yeah, the nervousness is gonna wear off with time because I'm determined that, I'm definitely gonna get to places and do stuff that I never tried before, because now I know that, when you have somebody pushing you to do something, you sort of accept it, because even if you fail, you sort of have somebody to blame. She made me do it, You don't feel stupid, you don't feel ignorant. So this is the kind of experience that you get when somebody is urging you on and telling you stuff to do, And then you get that chance to really experience it for yourself, and then it transforms you. That's the wonderful thing about this opportunity. Because by myself, I'd always reflect, if I fail, people are gonna laugh at me and they're gonna blame me for being stupid and unreasonable and all that. So here, you feel free, to try stuff and to fail and to try again. Yeah, so it was great. I don't think, no, it wasn't different than I expected it to be. But the thing though is, even though I knew what it was going to be like and I felt like I was ready for it, once I got into it, it felt like I wasn't even ready at all, So no matter how psyched up I was, trying to, give myself courage and saying I can do it. When I got in the situation, time is flying, you're going places, you just wake up in the morning, you don't even process anything that happened before. Sometimes you don't even time to do the journal, So I find that, yeah, that's what it was like. Yeah, the program has got so many things that I needed to do, places, meet people, new people, But I find that being in a new city is quite a challenge in itself. You have to deal with traditions and customs and transportation systems. You're not sure if you're doing the right thing. Even conversation is a bit tricky. Because American English and the way we speak English back home, sometimes you have to listen twice. And it's a bit awkward. To keep saying what was that. So those are some of the challenges that I faced in the city. But yeah, well, having to meet new people, that was never my thing, So yeah, you really got me there, because every time I had to meet new people, And I'm gonna tell you this. The other thing though is I came over here and I didn't have much time to socialize with people of my race, And that's totally the opposite of what happens when I'm back home, you see. So it's like white people, they do their thing that side. Black people, they do their thing that side. We don't hate each other, it just happens, you just gravitate towards your own people, So I believe it may not have been deliberate. I don't know how it is that you planned it, but I found myself in white spaces a lot of times, and most often I would look around and probably I was the only black guy, and I tell you, that experience in itself, it builds a confidence in dealing with other people, because when you're looking from outside, you think, I can't get in there, you imagine all sorts of scenarios, and hostility, and then here I get to mix and mingle with people. Yes, of course, sometimes people have mild curiosity, who's that guy? He looks different from us, but that wasn't harmful. I didn't experience any hostility, and I feel like, yes, it was an advantage to me. Now I feel like I can easily relate with anyone, any race, with Tom, I'm telling you, I can't even, I'm sorry, with Stephen, I can't even begin to tell you all the stuff that I feel like, the way I put it in my journal, sometimes I feel like, man, maybe I should have been taking notes or something, because I think he's got so much experience, and he's got so much knowledge about the industry, and every time I sit down with him, there's so much that I learn from him, and I'm just hoping that my memory serves me, and I'm able to recall some of this stuff, and with Tom, we had a great time, and it's good stories, which I feel like, I don't know if anybody heard those stories, but I was just curious, because when you're sitting with an elderly person, they've experienced so much in life, and what I like about them as well is that they have no filter, there's the age and there's the experience, so there's no pretensions about them, and even if they tell me that I'm stupid, I'm just gonna have to accept it, because you know what, maybe I haven't come to have enough experience, so I'm just willing to learn and sit under this kind of people. And well, he shared so many stories about his career, and told me about his family, showed me his house, and some of the things, it was, if somebody's going to show you his house and tell you how much it costs, it may sound like maybe they're posting about it. I don't know what would be the right word to say, but somehow it felt right, with Tom, because we all know that he's a rich guy, he's got an important job, and so when you sit with him and he tells you, without pride or anything, just to tell you the process that he went through to get where he was and what he is worth, and to tell me about his family, I felt like it was really inspiring, and of course, so many other stories about Vietnam and when he went to Africa and his experiences as a young man.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a great conversation. Yes, the Statue of Liberty, it was exciting to be, to be there, because that's the place to take pictures and show off, But the museum, I found that the whole process of the building of the Statue of Liberty, the way it was done between two countries, and the way they fundraised, you could see replicas, you could see the old flame, there was so much interesting stuff in there. I felt like, I spent so much time in there. I had to remind myself, but the statue is outside, but I really felt like I'm getting a much more rich experience by just seeing these exhibits and reading these stories. Yeah, that one was really amazing. Yeah. It's an amazing place, and I think I've always loved, logs, but getting into the museum and seeing all different types of logs, and they're just showing all their mechanism and the way they were crafted. It was one experience, I can't translate it into some kind of philosophical reasoning, but I just loved it, the machinery, the way it was made, I really loved it. Yeah, of course, first and foremost, it became a bit easier to move, subway, walking, bus, ferry, so the moment you get confident, you even stop wondering where you are, because in the beginning, I would always try to find out where am I at this moment, trying to place myself, but eventually I just get on the subway and I get where I need to go, so that was the thing that, changed for me. It's still a bit tricky here and there, but now I'm more confident, because I just know that if I lose my way, I get back on and I get where I need to get to. Staten Island, I'm still thinking about it, I'm just thinking with all this money over here and in other places, why are the rich people not going over there? I'm sure there's an explanation for it, because it feels like a different country, Maybe I didn't explore it deep enough, but, from what I observed, right from, when you get off the ferry, I should have seen something that would reflect this other side, Yeah, but that was very different, yeah. Being alone, I tell you, it was definitely positive. The thing is, I never felt alone because all the time I was always on the road and I'd come back late. So I never really had time to be lonely because you kept me busy, But being alone as well, I think it's going to have an effect when I get back home, because then people are just coming at you, and you have to talk with people all the time, So I'm sure when I get back home, I'll realize how peaceful it was, or maybe how beneficial it was to be alone. I think silence is always great. I think solitude is always great. We never get enough time for solitude and silence, The difference here is that it wasn't like a meditative kind of silence and solitude where you go to a retreat, it was the thing where you come back to your own space and nobody's interfering with you and you don't have a conversation with anyone, so you're just left alone, you know. So I feel like I cannot properly appreciate that part of it because I'm still in it. But when I get it out, I'm going to look back and I'm sure I'm going to discover that it was really a great time, you know. Yeah, it's going to be a bit different. It's going to be a bit different, you know. The thing, you know, is when you come over here, you guys are just doing everything for us, you know. So remember, if I have to get back home, you know, I probably, the experience is going to be very different from the experience that I had over here, you know, because you'll be thinking of other stuff that is waiting for you at home, you know, your problems, other things that you need to do. But here you don't have to think about getting home to do something else or to meet anyone else. So I think that makes it a much more a better experience, you know. Oh yeah. First start, you know, it's like when you send me around to meet people, I sort of feel like it was about meeting somebody for the first time, starting a conversation and having something to talk about, you know. And back home, you know, I would only meet people that I know, you know, that I'm related to, that I'm familiar with, you know. So I feel like that is something that's gonna change, you know. And other activities, well, I never did sport, you know, but when I went to the Yankees, I don't think I'm gonna be such a fan for sport, you know, but I need to appreciate, you know, the spirit of it, you know, because people were buying food, beers, drinking, just having a lot of fun, you know. There were old people, young people, mothers with babies, you know, everybody, some were just running around, just enjoying the excitement of it, you know. So now I realize that, you know what, it doesn't have to, I don't need to be a fanatic, you know. Maybe I can take a friend or my family, you know. So it's a good experience. This is the thing though, that if you call yourself an artist and you don't experience life, then as Tom would say, you're not even creating art, you know, in a way. But to live life, you know, it enriches your experience, so that when you create art, it's about life, you know. So I realized that those are some of the places that I would never go to. Soccer is big, you know, but I've never really been to a soccer game, you know. And there's cricket and other activities. So yeah, I would definitely be going to some games, you know, maybe with my family or maybe with a friend, you know, just for the sake of it, you know, to feel that, yeah, I'm in the spirit of things, you know, because that's really important to be there, you know, be alive, you know. Yeah, we've got theater productions. So the thing there is about prioritizing things, you know. Some of the things that I experienced here, we have them in Harare, but and I never took time, you know, to go and experience those things and watch the plays, you know. But the thing now is, I realize that it's really important. It's not something that I can just ignore. It's really important. A lot of stuff that I was doing over here, I know you guys would say, you know, it's been a long time, I've never been to such a place, you know. But for me now, I realize that I'm like that as well when I'm back home. I never really go to these places. But I think it's time to invest, you know, in time and money to make sure that I have a full experience of life, you know, in order for my experience to enrich my work, you know. So I feel like, yeah, I definitely need to do more plays and theater and yeah.